do an update alive. I'm headed back to Ottawa. There are so many updates. We've heard from Doug Ford. I watched a little bit of his press conference, which was ridiculous. People have seen clips of that. This son of a gun who was out on Saturday saying, you know, you go to the CNN, many people have seen this as CNN clips and CBC and all this nonsense of talking about this insurrection and occupation and extremist group. Meanwhile, this fat bastard is on his snowmobile on Saturday, and obviously it's not that big of a threat. The joke of the media is becoming so obvious, even to some of the people who buy into this stuff. So I've been saying this pretty often. It's only going to fool the already fooled, and don't waste your time on them. It's nonsense. But this thing is growing. More Canadian police are speaking out, which is fantastic. So there's police on guard in Canada, and more clips of police speaking out because they know this is wrong. This goes against the Charter of Rights and Freedoms to protest and all of these other things. So everything that the media is saying is complete nonsense. It's a racist, white supremacist movement is complete nonsense. I'm curious when the Canadian flag is going to be an extremist symbol that cannot be waved around. The police, and there's many people have spoken about this and have stepped down, have been in Ottawa. They've observed from themselves, both in uniform and out of uniform, there's not been any violence in 2 weeks. And so this is the rights of Canadians and also of free countries to protest. And so there's so much going on, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, more talk about this potentially being a psyop. And since we're in a psychological war, everything is possible. So we just look to the best evidence to see if that is indeed true. There are, since the beginning, talks about food shortage, but this goes to the root of the problem that we need to understand about our farming and our farmers, what's happening there, legislation about growing your own fruit, food, vegetables, gardens, chickens, things like that within Canada and other places, the systematic, defarming of Canada and the United States. So all of those structures need to be looked at. And then we also have financial coming up, and this has been their plan from the beginning. A lot of the economists, like Armstrong Economics, there's this woman out of Ireland that does a great talk in it as well, talking about how, I don't know what it is, it's something crazy, like 60% of all money in existence was printed in the last 2 years. Don't quote me on that, but it's something nuts like that. And so they're propping up this system because they want to move us into this digital system. This isn't new for a lot of you out there, especially who listen to my work and kind of have been paying attention to what's going on. We have in Alberta and in Ontario and in Saskatchewan kind of the framework for this digital ID, and it talks about what it can be used for, including vaccination and getting your driver's license and things like that. So this convoy or this movement is sparking up everybody who wants freedom, who does not want to go into this technocracy and this fourth industrial revolution that's outlined by Klaus Schwab. And I've talked to a lot of people, and some of them, they just can't understand how this couldn't be a global conspiracy. Well, it's pretty simple when you go to the World and they have I don't know when it cut off because I'm trying to pay attention, but if you go to World Economic Forum, you go to strategic intelligence, and you'll see there, you got to make an account, but they have a master plan so detailed for what they want to lay out, and everybody is connected in some way in a position of power. So the mayor of Ottawa connected to the World Economic Forum, the Doug Ford, World Economic Forum, Theresa Tam, World Health Organization, Bonnie Henry, I don't exactly know where she is, but all these people are doing the most insane measures. They're all connected somehow, so it obviously makes sense because they've made these contracts and these agreements. And what I like about what's going on and the potential of what's going on is that if we can stop this digital passport, this digital ID, nothing else will work that they want to do. They have to ram it down our throats and make it work. And if they don't, nothing else they want to roll out is going to work. So they're going to do everything they can in their power to make that work. And so now is definitely a good time for us who want freedom and want to put an end to this to stand up and get involved. I've been really inspired by these kids in schools, walking out, now seeing people, grown-ups, standing up for what's right. And it's got to be such a hard time for children because they're looking around wondering and thinking, this can't be right. It can't be right for me to wear a mask all day, right? And then all the people that are associated with that, you financial incentive for these vaccines. So we've got 10 vaccines per person in Canada. And so obviously that is something that is, that we shouldn't have unless they're planning on dishing them out forever. And so, you have all these different players. Then the amazing Polly, if you look her up, she got deleted on YouTube. I don't know if her account's back, but she's on BitChute. She does a great presentation on the global healthcare mafia. And so if you check her out, you check out that video, she links all the money between Pfizer and all the big pharma, and you can see how the CEOs, are connected and everybody's interconnected. So obviously, this is not that hard to figure out. What needs to happen is the people need to hold these people accountable. So I'm going down to Ottawa again. I didn't particularly want to. I'm tired. It's a 5-hour drive both ways, and it's a lot of time. It's a lot of money. Their inflation is coming. Obviously, in Canada, our gas has gone up like 30%. When I first got this vehicle that I'm in, it cost me like $50 a tank to fill up. Now it's 80 because gas is, I don't know, it's like 160, 158 a liter, which is nuts. It's so high in such a short period of time. So people need to start paying attention. Oh, what I was talking about before, which I think was amazing, was these kids in schools taking off their masks en masse. They know it's wrong. It's wrong. And our school complete lunatics, and they're just stuffing the agenda that's being handed down to them by, once again, the globalists, United Nations, World Economic Forum, all these different places to just teach and brainwash these kids. So it's a very confusing place. I've heard so many stories of children, wanting to commit suicide. I just saw a couple of posts I put in my Telegram. One was from the Department of Defense, and it showed all these statistics that are way up, which is, stillbirths and all these other diseases, sends a rollout of the needle. And then I saw another one in British Columbia, and it said that the opioid epidemic is gone through the roof. I can't remember what the percentage is. It said 1 in 6 people in British Columbia have died from an opioid overdose. That's insane. So nobody's talking about that. And, on the other side of this, all you have is propaganda from the left and bots and Twitter and big tech. The only move that they have is to call you a racist and, shame you and try to cancel you. They're trying to cancel Joe Rogan, which is insane. I saw a video of a guy going around Los Angeles asking people, do you care about Joe Rogan? And they're talking about, this is, if we learned anything from George Floyd is we got to speak up. And, every single one of the white people was like, this is terrible and disgusting and needs to be canceled. And every black person they asked, they didn't care about it at all. And Israel Adesanya from the UFC, answered a question at the press conference the other day, speaking on behalf of Joe. And he's just like, Joe's amazing. So all you see, like, nobody got upset when Sanjay Gupta was on. And I saw another great thing where it said, how come he didn't turn all the people who want freedom of choice and don't want to take the vaccine? How come he didn't convince so many people to take it? Because his argument was ridiculous, and there should be public debates, but there aren't anymore because it's becoming 1984 George Orwell upside down thinking, and that's how it goes into Luciferian, because it's literally inverting the truth. Up is down, left is right. It's just I'm just driving here, and people are driving like total morons. I just have it on. There we go. The lane is open, and I'm just in cruise control. And people do stupid things. So, side note, so all they try to do is cancel, and the truth is still getting out there. That's why I'm optimistic. No matter what happens, I'd rather fight for freedom in showing up to Ottawa and being peaceful and partying and sharing the truth for those who can still see the truth, because it's going to end up coming out. And people who are kind and compassionate and good, they're going to help you build the solution. But you need to be that yourself. We need to be that example ourselves and find our tribe and allow other people who want to be deceived and don't want to hear the truth to just do as they wish. And it's weird because so many Like, I've seen people that are able to handle the truth, but they can't get the whole thing with the big picture. And some people who just don't let anything in. You know, they're like, oh, this couldn't be, but they don't know anything about anything. So, you know, the easiest way to understand that this is a global agenda is just to go to World Economic Forum and strategic intelligence. It's not that complicated. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. Those are the things I wanted to kind of share about, you know, Doug Ford and his ridiculous address to the people, Trudeau just continually calling people racist. It's just absolutely absurd. And you're seeing people really support, you know, so reinforcements are coming. You know, the truckers made the front lines. They're doing the best they can. But from the energy of this, it's going to spark other things. And like I said before, you know, some people are really adamant that this is a psychological, or, you know, and putting out fear. They go, oh, it's a psyop, it's a psyop. They keep spreading fear. And I saw a lot, don't go up Saturday, there's going to be some sort of thing. There could be. But even with, like, in January 6th in the States, you know, all they did was make some sort of false flag, right? And one person, you know, was killed, apparently. But, you know, even that is suspicious, or what went on with that was suspicious, because when you look at it, they're just walking into the building, opening the doors. You know, it's really obvious when you look at the footage that something isn't right with that picture. And it's the same thing here. As long as you're peaceful, what are they going to do? They're going to, you know, just come out with machetes and or machine guns and kill everyone? Like, that's pretty intense. But at least it would let Canada and the rest of the world know what's going on. So it's this fear tactic, and that's how I think it's really working. Is they get you with the fear tactic of money, right? They're going to fine you, they're going to impound your truck, they're going to take your livelihood away, but they've already taken so many people's livelihoods away. Oh yeah, that was the other thing about Doug Ford and this nonsense of what the media is projecting, talking about how you're shutting down the businesses. No, they're not. If the businesses were open, they'd be making a lot of money. It's their choice to shut down. The government has shut down businesses for 2 mother effing years. Projection is so annoying when they say you're doing the thing that they're actually doing. It is the most frustrating thing to listen to. So just unbelievable what's going on. So I'm just going to go there to support, because having bodies there, so the rest of the world is seeing this and saying, whoa, this is nuts. One of my clients, actually, she lives in a small town in Minnesota, and said that one of her neighbors has a Canadian flag that he recently put up on his porch to support the truckers. And people who support the truckers are essentially supporting freedom. We may not agree on everything else, but the root of it is freedom. Freedom to make a living without medical intervention. That's it. Everything else, and all they have to try to stifle that, prevent people from going, prevent people from speaking out, is this illusion online or even in real life that you're being shamed and guilted. And I was talking to another friend after a podcast the other day, and, you know, just talked about how he has a friend who's a doctor and some sort of specialty in virology. So he goes, hey, at one point the guy reached out to him and said, I'm just reaching out to all my friends who haven't got the shot yet to answer any questions. So he and his wife said, you know what, okay, let's talk to him and see what kind of answers he has, right? Asked him a bunch of questions. He didn't have any answers. You know, all he was is spitting the propaganda of what he was told, because that's the system he's in. He didn't have any answers to the good questions he's asking. You know, I was like, how does it make sense if, you know, if it doesn't prevent me from getting it or spreading it, why would I take that? That doesn't make, why didn't the first 3 work? You know, and all these things. And so he had no answers. So that's how people who are still open-minded know we can sit in the truth, because the truth evolves. And if somebody gives us a better answer or better information, we can move towards that. And these people are stuck in the propaganda and whatever the media tells them. And this is a real virus, as I've shared in one of my previous videos, is people's minds and how they're like hijacked. We can get into some weird esoteric stuff where the suggestion is they're even hijacked by what do they call it? Disembodied entities, or the jinn, or lots of different words for it. And I was listening to the Book of Enoch for about an hour and a half before I started this live, and it talks about that, how it talks about good and evil, and how there's these entities here from the past, and they can hijack people, and where it's always this battle for evil. And then I highlighted this quote, and I'll share it at some point, but it basically said that, evil is always present, and it takes over the mind of man when those thoughts kind of fester, and then the man or woman removes compassion, removes empathy, and then it all of a sudden takes over, and the evil expressed through action. And we can see that. We can see it online with the vitriol and the hate, and that's all they have. They're hijacked, right? And people like myself and many others, I'm not the best at this, I'm okay at it, but I'm just tolerating this consistent violent behavior, this harassment, this hate speech. That's what they're doing. They're doing hate speech. They're being racist. They're being, you got to protect your country and your family from enemies, both foreign and domestic. And what's happened is these governments, these pseudo-governments, police getting an understanding, police, OPP, RCMP, wherever they're in the world, their oath is real, but what they're doing, that's what they should focus on, is that oath to protect the people. But they're starting to understand that their job is to protect the government. So they need to stop doing that. And there's a great quote by Mark Passio that says, "Order followers keep the system slavery in place." And what we're experiencing now goes back so far, right? Germ theory versus terrain theory, Rockefeller medicine, 1910, and how he hijacked medicine through already being super rich. So his team of propagandists, made anything that was homeopathic, natural, quackery, right? And then the only thing that made sense was, or that they tried to make sense to heal you was pharmaceuticals, petroleum-based pills. And we're in that paradigm now because they're able to fund the universities. And so all of this is coming to light, which is a really great thing. So some of the great things that we've learned is who our true friends are, who would stab us in the back, truth and goodness and kindness and compassion and all the beautiful human traits. And that's what we're here to build. So if we can remove fear and just have faith, that's the big thing, and participate in a way that makes sense to us, that's what we need to do. So I'm just going to leave it here. Follow me on Telegram. I started TikTok. So I don't know, you can find me Matt Belair, go to my Telegram. I don't even know what my TikTok name is. Could be Matt Belair, makes sense. But that's not censored right away, so I got more response on, a week of TikTok videos than my Instagram and everything else, because it's so insanely censored. And Telegram is the best way. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. If I should be aware of anything, let me know. I'll be boots on the ground today, and I'm going to probably go up tomorrow as well, and to do some interviews and to talk to some. Picked a bad spot to do it live, I guess. I don't know if you guys could hear my complaining. But there's a girl that I trust and I like her research, and her and a few others were saying, watch out for Ottawa, based on no evidence. They didn't say, they're like, there's going to be something going down and there's families there and you got to watch out. They could be right. I'm not saying that nothing could happen, but they didn't share any good evidence. They just said, because they needed all these people together to blah, blah, blah for a PSYOP, this PSYOP, that. They could potentially easily just film a PSYOP. They could just film it. So there's lots of ways for that to get out. But just like the January 6th, it'll be easy to exploit, to see, okay, this is the truth of the matter. So even if they did, it's only going to fool the fooled, right? But the people like myself and the many other people there with eyes to see and ears to hear will know exactly the truth. That will get out. It'll get shared with people like you and I. And we're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So, but it's this fear tactic, right? So they get you through fear of money and now fear of harm and all these different things. And in war, there are casualties, but now it's mostly going after your pockets. But if they succeed in this and we go to the digital currency and the digital ID, there's no freedom for us in this lifetime. And we handed over slavery to our children and our children's children. To get that freedom back after that is going to be incredibly hard. And the sad part is we have all these kind of, castrated males, and people are sitting on the couch now, and we've allowed it to get this far. There's already been immense harm. People en masse have already allowed and done it to their own kids, giving them experimental medicines that are not approved. There's no long-term studies, And there's no reason for them to take that medicine because what they're claiming to be the virus is not a threat to them because the survival rate is insanely high. So what the hell is going on? So if all I need to do is go and participate and show up and, make these huge drives, and what do I got here? I got some sandwiches and pepperoni sticks and some almonds. That's the least I can do. And it's great to see the veterans start to stand up, the police start to stand up. So now's the time to use your voice. We can see online what's happening with the support with this. So, whatever you can do in your own world just to speak the truth, be the solution, find centeredness, remove fear from yourself. Go in. If you have fears, this is a great exercise I give my clients in group coaching is, if you have fears, write them out. So one of the fears with the PSYOP thing, I go, okay, what if one of my big fears is like, what if every single thing is a PSYOP and I'm just a sheep, and no matter what outlet, I'm a sheep in the whole world is like kind of a farm, and the whole point of my life, I'm just gonna die anyway. There's no salvation, there's no creator, there's no God, and this whole time I've just been like subject, like a cow, and at some point I'm just gonna be ended. I was like, oh, that's so dark. And so I went into that on the drive, and I thought, okay, all right, so let's just say that's true. Well, even if it was true, and let's say it's true right now, and I know that, I come to the conclusion somehow that I know for sure that I'm just a cow, and I'm not going to get out, and I'm going to be taken at any point, and there's nothing past this. Even if that were true, it wouldn't take away from all the beautiful experiences. It wouldn't take away from my perspective. It wouldn't take away from all the love that I've experienced and shared, all the beautiful moments, all the care and love that I have for my mom and my family and my daughter, all the beautiful experiences that I've got to do, all the learning, all the just amazing things that come from life, all the peace I felt, all those emotions, all the just splendor and challenge of being a human being. It would take any of those away. It would give a terrible view on the outcome, but it wouldn't take any of that away, and it would just say, okay, well, if that's true, well, then it's even more important, the choices that I make, that I share that energy, that I make the best of this, that I find joy in every moment, because that's a choice, that's a conscious choice. And then if you go even more empowering and say, you know what, I think there is a creator, for whatever reason you think that, a God that created me because of many things, many weird experiences, but just because of, I don't die when I go to sleep. I got created from something. This is a mystery. This whole in place is a beautiful, fantastic mystery. So if I was created by something, and that piece of creation is within me, that soul spark, bit of creation, then wow, what a gift to be here. And maybe I'm protected just like I would protect my daughter, and spirit would protect me. And the only thing that I know is my intention and what I am trying to do and what I'm hoping to do. And if I can honor that and make the best choices, like in that Book of Enoch quote, you can, right? Evil has to come to fruition through a choice made without compassion, right? You have to remove compassion to make an evil choice, to not worry about someone else's feelings and how it might affect them and what the result may be. So if we can keep love, compassion, kindness, human spirit, we are removing evil from within ourselves. And it's not that we don't have evil thoughts or harmful thoughts or, parts of us we don't like. One of the things I heard recently about shadow work from episode I did with Dr. Francis Yaya was that it's not about removing the shadow. That's where people get hung up in self-development work. It's about accepting it. Accepting that I will have some crazy thoughts, that I'll have judgments, that I'll make mistakes, that I'll have lower nature things, but to just accept that part of myself when it comes, see that lower self or the self that's not preferred arise, and see it, take a few deep breaths, just get connected with my higher self, my soul, who I truly am, who I truly want to become, and then make a choice from there. And even if you fail and make the choice that isn't as centered or as wonderful as you like, then don't beat yourself up for it. Just remember to have that space in between where you make that conscious choice. So, the lower parts of you, or the self that's not perfect, or the experiences, the memory that we have is going to be there, but we can still make a choice. And I did a coaching call the other day that I liked, and with a younger person, and he was having a tough time with his hockey coach. And the hockey coach is basically like one of those guys that yells at you if you don't do anything perfect, and you get benched, so you're always on pins and needles, just waiting to make a mistake. And it's not the best way to motivate anyone, let alone a young person. And I was trying to explain like the ego side of things, of understanding that when someone's yelling at you, or the external world is challenging you, it's your inner world that counts most. So even if the coach or someone says, you suck, you're the worst, I hate you, well, it's more important how you control your inner world. And it's not that you don't feel that pain or hurt or sadness from that comment. It's you don't stay there do you stay there for a moment, or a minute, or 10 minutes, or an hour, or 10 hours? How do you come back to, I am whole, complete, harmonious, full of self-love, cared for and loved infinitely by the Creator? And you have to create that within yourself. So, if the external world is going to dictate your emotions, your beliefs, your dreams, then you're not going to be a very powerful creator, and you're going to be a victim to other people's thoughts, beliefs, emotions, ideas, frames of the world, and not your own. So we need to practice coming back to that. And in this situation that we're in, we're seeing that with friends and family in very challenging situations. And when we can just be ourselves, we're sending that signal to other people about what we stand for, the flag that we're standing, who we want to be, our character. And so now that's it. That's all I wanted to rant for now. I'll probably do a live when I'm there. I'll see. I've already chewed through all my data, so this will be fun. And almost the phone's full, so that'll be fun. And, also I'll report on this. And if you guys have any questions, Telegram is the best way. And TikTok now, and I post some on Instagram, but it's so censored, it's nuts. So if you want to support the show, go to my email list, mattbelair.com. That's the best thing you can do, and just stay in touch. So big love, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in Ottawa soon. Peace.